My abusive wife kidnapped our children because they hated her, but loved me. My wife Sarah and I were married for 10 years and had two beautiful children, Max and Lily. They were the light of my life. I always thought our family was strong, but looking back I can see the signs I missed, the red flags that were right in front of me. Sarah's jealousy started as small things and grew into a destructive force that tore our family apart. Sarah and I met in college. She was stunning, confident, and seemed to have her life together. We fell in love quickly, and after graduation we got married. The early years were blissful. We both had good jobs, bought a house, and soon after Max was born, followed by Lily 2 years later. I thought life was perfect. Sarah's jealousy started subtly. She would get upset if I spent too much time with my friends, or if I worked late. I saw it as her wanting to spend more time with me and tried to accommodate her. But over the years, her jealousy morphed into something more insidious. Sarah resented the close bond I had with Max and Lily. From a young age, the kids were always more comfortable around me. I was the one they ran to when they were scared. The one they confided in. Sarah often got frustrated when the kids chose me over her, and it created tension in our marriage. Sarah's behavior towards the kids changed drastically. She became strict, often yelling at them for minor things and imposing harsh punishments. I tried to step in, but it only escalated the situation. Sarah accused me of undermining her authority and turning the kids against her. I was just trying to protect them, but she wouldn't listen. One night, everything came to a head. Max accidentally spilled juice on the carpet, and Sarah exploded. She screamed at him, calling him names, terrifying him. I intervened, telling her to calm down, that it was just an accident. Sarah turned her fury on me, shouting that I was always taking the kid's side and making her the bad guy. She stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind her. That night, I sat down with Max and Lily. They were both crying and scared. Max told me he was afraid of his mom and didn't like how she treated him. Lily nodded in agreement. My heart shattered. Hearing this, I knew Sarah's behavior was affecting the kids, but I didn't realize the extent. The next day, I tried talking to Sarah, but she wouldn't listen. She accused me of turning the kids against her and said she was done being the villain. She threatened to leave and take the kids with her. I was stunned. I couldn't believe she would actually go through with it, but a week later she did. I came home from work to an empty house. All of Sarah's things were gone, and so were the kids' belongings. A note on the kitchen table from Sarah said she was leaving and taking the kids. She wrote she couldn't live in a house where she was always the bad guy, and that it was better for everyone if she left. I was devastated. I tried calling Sarah, but she wouldn't answer. I contacted the police, but they said there was nothing they could do since she was their mother, and there was no custody agreement in place. I felt helpless, like my world was falling apart. Days turned into weeks, and I still hadn't heard from Sarah or seen the kids. I hired a lawyer and started the process of filing for divorce and custody. It was a long, painful process. Sarah accused me of being an unfit father, and I had to fight to prove I was the better parent. During this time, I finally got to see Max and Lily. It was a supervised visit, and when I saw them, they ran to me crying. They told me they missed me and wanted to come home. They said Sarah was mean to them and they were scared of her. It broke my heart, but also strengthened my resolve to get them back. The court battle was brutal. Sarah's lawyer painted me as a controlling husband who turned the kids against their mother. My lawyer countered with evidence of Sarah's abusive behavior and the kids' testimony. It was a long, exhausting process, but in the end, the court awarded me full custody of Max and Lily. Sarah was granted supervised visitation rights. When the kids finally came home, it felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. We spent the first few weeks just being together, trying to heal from the trauma. We enrolled them in therapy to help them deal with the emotional scars left by Sarah's abuse. It was a long road to recovery, but we were making progress. Sarah tried to fight the court's decision, but her appeals were denied. She blamed me for everything, saying I had turned the kids against her, but I knew the truth, and so did Max and Lily. They knew I had fought for them, protected them from their mother's abuse. As time went on, the kids and I began to rebuild our lives. We moved to a new house away from the memories of the past. I focused on being the best father I could be, giving Max and Lily the love and stability they needed. They started to thrive in their new environment, and I was grateful every day for the chance to be their dad. Sarah continued her attempts to regain more custody, but the evidence against her was too strong. The court remained firm in its decision. She blamed me for the situation, but I knew it was her actions that led us here. I focused on moving forward with Max and Lily. One day, out of the blue, Sarah showed up at my door. It was a shock to see her after all this time. She looked different, worn down, and desperate. She begged to see the kids, claiming she had changed and wanted to be part of their lives again. I was hesitant, but I agreed to let her see them under supervision. The visit was tense. Max and Lily were nervous but agreed to see their mother. They sat in the living room with Sarah while I watched from a distance. Sarah tried to be affectionate, but the kids were wary. They had been hurt too many times before and they weren't ready to trust her again. After the visit, Sarah asked if she could see the kids more regularly. I told her it would have to be a gradual process and she would need to prove she had changed and could provide a safe environment for them. She agreed, and we started to arrange supervised visits at a neutral location. Over time, Sarah's behavior seemed to improve. She was more patient and understanding with the kids and respected the boundaries we had set. I could see Max and Lily slowly starting to open up to her again, but they were still cautious, and so was I. As the months went by, Sarah continued to show improvement. She attended therapy sessions and made a genuine effort to rebuild her relationship with the kids. I started to believe maybe she had changed, maybe there was hope for some sort of reconciliation. Eventually, we agreed to a new custody arrangement that allowed Sarah more time with the kids. It was a difficult decision, but I wanted Max and Lily to have a relationship with their mother as long as it was healthy and safe. We continued to monitor the situation closely, and I remained vigilant to protect my children. The journey was far from over, but it felt like we were finally moving in the right direction. Max and Lily were doing well in school, and their therapist was pleased with their progress. They were happier and more confident, and I was proud of how far we had come as a family. Sarah and I were never going to be friends again, but we had found a way to coexist for the sake of the kids. We communicated through a parenting app to keep things civil and focused on what was best for Max and Lily. It wasn't perfect, but it was working. Life has a way of surprising you just when you think you have everything figured out. About a year after the new custody arrangement was in place, I met someone new. Her name was Emily, and she was everything I had been missing in my life. She was kind, patient, and loving, and she accepted Max and Lily with open arms. Emily and I started dating, and it wasn't long before we knew we wanted to build a future together. She was amazing with the kids, and they adored her. For the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful about the future. I knew we could be a happy family. When I told Sarah about Emily, she was surprisingly supportive. She admitted she had moved on as well and was happy for me. It was a strange moment of closure, but it felt good to know we could both find happiness after everything we had been through. Emily and I got married in a small ceremony with just close friends and family. Max and Lily were there by my side, and it was one of the happiest days of my life. We continued to build our life together, and every day was filled with love and laughter. Sarah still tries to contact me from time to time, but I have made it clear that my priority is the kids' well-being. I have set boundaries to protect them from her toxic influence, and I will continue to do so. I know I can't change the past, but I can make sure their future is filled with love, stability, and happiness. One day, Sarah showed up at my door again. It was unexpected, and she looked more desperate than before. She begged to see the kids, claiming she had changed even more. I was hesitant, but agreed to another supervised visit. Max and Lily were reluctant, but agreed to see her. The visit was strained, but Sarah seemed genuinely remorseful. She apologized to the kids for her past behavior and promised she was working on being a better person. Max and Lily were cautious, but they listened to her. I watched closely, making sure she didn't cross any boundaries. After the visit, Sarah asked if she could see the kids more regularly. I told her she needed to prove she had changed and could provide a safe environment. She agreed, and we started arranging more supervised visits. Over time, her behavior seemed to improve even more, and Max and Lily slowly began to trust her again. We eventually worked out a new custody arrangement, allowing Sarah more time with the kids. It was a difficult decision,